The plow cuts through sun-cracked mud, its weight pulling heavy against Bola's shoulders. Every step requires driving hooves into packed earth, shifting weight to pull the blade deeper, leaving straight furrows behind. Midday sun burns across his back, turning sweat to salt that stings his skin. The air is still, no breeze to cut the heat. The plow catches on a dried, gnarled root just below the surface. Bola heaves once, then again, before the blade pulls free. He stops, chest heaving with deep, ragged breaths, and lifts his head to wipe sweat from his eyes. His gaze drifts automatically to the neem tree at the edge of the field. Kalu rests there, slow and easy, chewing cud in the dappled shade. He shifts his weight every few minutes to stay out of the direct sun, and flicks his tail to brush away passing flies. He has not touched a single load of work all morning. He has not broken a single sweat. This is the third week Bola has looked over and seen exactly this. The same shade, the same slow chewing, the same empty, easy hours. The heat in Bola's chest is no longer just from the sun. A tight, heavy feeling cools behind his ribs, growing thicker with every beat of his heart. Resentment begins to stir. Both animals belong to the same old farmer. Their small farm sits between rolling golden wheat fields, connected to the nearest town by a single rutted dirt road. For 10 years, Bola has been the farmer's unbroken backbone. He pulls the plow from the first pink light of sunrise until the sun dips below the horizon. He works through scorching summer heat that bakes the mud to brick. He works through biting winter winds that chap his skin and stiffen his joints. He never slows his step. He never refuses a load. He never complains about the work. The fields grow thick and green because of him. The farmer's children have full bellies 3 times a day because of him. The farmer's roof stays fixed, and the farmer's coins keep coming because of Bola's steady effort. Kalu's days have always been far lighter. He grazes along the fence line to trim stray weeds, a slow walk that takes less than an hour. He carries small bundles of hay back to the shed once, sometimes twice a week. Most afternoons, he dozes under that same neem tree, watching clouds drift slow over the tops of the wheat. For years, Bola did not mind this arrangement. He believed hard work was just his duty. He was proud to carry the load, but that belief has worn thin, frayed by the daily sight of Kalu's empty, easy hours. The resentment grows thicker every day. It sticks to him like the mud on his hooves, heavy and impossible to shake. That evening, the farmer unhitches the plow from Bola's shoulders and leaves the equipment by the field edge. Bola trundles slowly toward the neem tree, where Kalu already rests for the night. Every heavy step kicks up puffs of dry dust that cling to his muddy legs. His shoulders ache where the yoke pressed all day. His hooves throb from walking 10 miles back and forth across the field. He stops a few feet from Kalu, breathing hard, and waits for the goat to look up. Kalu lifts his head slowly, still chewing his last bit of cud for the day. "You live like a royal," Bola says, his voice rough and raw from exhaustion. "You eat what you want, you rest when you want, you wander wherever you please. I break my back from dawn till dark, day after day. Is that fair?" Kalu chews once more, slow and steady, before he speaks. His voice is gentle, no edge of anger or defensiveness. "Your strength is why the farmer values you," he says. "He depends on you to keep the farm running. That dependence is what keeps you important here. It keeps you safe." Bola snorts, loud and sharp, and stamps a hoof against the dry ground. He is too blinded by bitterness to listen. He has already made up his mind. That night, as he lies on his hay in the shed, he maps out every step of his trick. He will pretend he is hurt. He will get the rest he thinks he deserves. He will let the farmer see what it is like to go without his work. Dawn breaks pink over the wheat fields, and the farmer's boots crunch across the yard toward the shed. Bola hears every step. His heart picks up speed, tapping against his ribs as the door creaks open. He keeps his head low, already letting his leg go limp against the straw. The farmer moves to his side, pats his neck, and slips the rough wooden yoke over his shoulders. The moment the weight settles, Bola drops his bad leg to the ground. He lets his whole body sag. He groans low in his chest, deep and rumbling, and hangs his head like every muscle aches. The farmer stops. He leans in closer, presses calloused fingers to Bola's leg, and prods gently to find the injury. Bola holds his breath, keeps the leg loose, and groans again, louder this time. The farmer pats Bola's flank, frowning deep with worry. "Oh no, my strongest ox is hurt," he murmurs, his voice thick with concern. He unties the yoke's leather straps quickly, fumbling a little in his hurry. He leads Bola back across the yard to the shaded side of the shed, pulling gentle on the rope. "Rest up here. We'll wait till you feel better. No need to push through pain." The farmer leaves a pile of fresh, sweet hay by Bola's side, closes the door half open to let in the breeze, and walks away toward the fields. Bola lies back on the soft straw. He listens to the farmer's boots fade into the distance, crunching across the dry dirt. For the first time in 10 years, he has no work to do. No heavy plow to drag back and forth across the field. No sun burning his neck from sunrise to sunset. He chews the sweet hay slow, savoring every bite, and watches sparrows hop across the shed doorframe, chasing each other through the cracks. This is the life, he thinks to himself. I should have done this years ago. I deserve this. One day of easy rest stretches into 2. 2 stretches into 3. Every morning, when the farmer comes to check on Bola's injury, Bola limps slower, groans louder, and hangs his head like he can barely stand. The farmer's initial soft worry slowly curdles. The wheat season waits for no man. The cracked, dry soil needs to be turned before the monsoon rains arrive. Without Bola pulling the plow, there is no way to get the fields ready on time. The entire planting schedule slides further behind with every hour that passes. If the delay holds, the whole year's harvest will fail. The farmer stops bringing fresh sweet hay. He stops patting Bola's neck when he enters the shed. He just stands in the doorway, arms crossed, staring at Bola with a hard, tight frown. The silence hangs heavy, but Bola does not break. He keeps his leg limp, keeps his head low, and waits for the farmer to leave. One evening, after the farmer has gone back to the house, Kalu slips through the half-open shed door to drink from the water trough. He leans his warm side against Bola's, his breath soft and steady. He lowers his voice to a whisper so the farmer inside the house cannot hear. "Be careful," he says. "Temporary comfort costs more than hard work ever does. You are eroding the trust that keeps you here. Stop this before it is too late." Bola just turns his head away from Kalu. He presses his shoulder against the shed wall, pointedly ignoring the warning. He does not want to hear the truth. He is still enjoying his rest, still convinced he is getting exactly what he deserves. The days keep passing. The farmer's frustration grows thicker every hour, until it sits heavier than the plow Bola used to drag. The fourth morning dawns hot and still, same as every other that week. Bola chews hay slowly, half dozing in the shade of the shed wall. He has not felt the weight of the yoke in 4 days. His muscles feel loose, his hooves are clean, and he has not broken a sweat since the day he faked his injury. He still does not regret his choice. He only thinks about how much easier this is than dragging a plow through cracked mud from sunrise to sunset. Then he hears it, a low, steady rumble, rolling down the dusty dirt road from the direction of the town. It grows louder, closer, the clatter of hooves on hard-packed dirt mixing with the creak of wooden wheels. Bola lifts his head. He pushes up from the straw, steps soft and quiet to the gap between the shed's wooden slats. He peeks out through the crack, his heart already starting to tap faster against his ribs. A horse-drawn cart rumbles through the farm gate, dust curling behind its wheels. A man climbs down from the driver's seat, brushes dried straw from his sleeves, and nods at the farmer who waits by the yard. The man is a livestock trader. Bola's throat goes dry. He presses his eye tighter to the crack, every nerve in his body screaming to hear every word. The farmer gestures straight toward the shed, his voice sharp and clear, carried perfectly on the still morning air. "That ox has grown old and weak," the farmer says. "He can't pull the plow anymore. He just stands in that shed eating good hay and doing nothing at all. I'll sell him for whatever price you're willing to give. Cold panic shoots straight through Bola's veins, from the tip of his hooves all the way up to his skull. He freezes against the shed wall, his breath caught hard in his chest, unable to move. Bola jolts out of his frozen stupor. He pushes off the shed wall, ready to burst through the door and show the farmer he can still work. He can pull the plow twice as hard as before. He can break his back from dawn till dark, just like he always did. But his back hoof catches on a clump of straw. He stumbles, snorts, and by the time he rights himself, he hears the trader's boots crunch on the yard gravel. The silver coins clink one by one into the farmer's palm. The deal is done. It is already too late. The trader steps through the shed doorway, his boots scraping the packed dirt floor. He walks straight to Bola. No hurry, no hesitation. He coiled a thick hemp rope in his hands. He loops it around Bola's neck, pulls it tight enough to dig into the skin, and gives a sharp tug. The bite of the rope shocks Bola into compliance. He has no choice. He has to follow. The trader leads him out of the shed, across the yard, toward the gate that opens to the dusty road. Bola keeps his head down, his hooves dragging in the dry dirt. He passes the neem tree, the same tree where Kalu has rested every afternoon for years. He glances up. Kalu stands at the edge of the shade, watching him silently. The rope digs deeper as the trader tugs again. Bola's throat tightens, and then the truth hits him, hard and heavy, heavier than any plow he ever dragged. Bola hangs his head lower as the trader tugs the rope again. He steps through the farm gate, his hooves kicking up small puffs of the same dust he has walked across every morning for 10 years. Every step takes him further from the shed, from the plow, from the familiar routine that anchored his whole life. The wheat fields roll on either side of the dirt road, golden and bright in the midday sun. A soft wind picks up, carries the scent of ripening grain straight to Bola's nose. He flinches. These are the fields he plowed year after year. These are the crops that fed the farmer's family, that put bread on their table every night, all because of his work. Now, he will never pull a plow through them again. His regret sits heavier on his shoulders than any yoke, any plow ever did. He keeps walking, his head bowed, and the farm gate shrinks smaller behind him. The wheat fields blur at the edges. The sound of the farm's chickens fades. His old life is gone, closed off behind him like a door that has been locked and bolted forever. A week passes. The farmer drives into town on the same dusty road and comes back with a new young ox. The new ox fits the yoke easily, pulls the plow straight through the cracked dry soil. The fields get turned in time for the rains. The wheat gets planted before the first storm hits. The farm keeps running, just like it always did. The farmer eats his meals. Kalu chews his cud under the neem tree. The chores get done, the seasons turn, and no one speaks Bola's name aloud anymore. He has been erased, as if he never spent 10 years breaking his back to build the farm's success. No one stops to think of him, or the work he did, or the mistake that cost him everything. Only Kalu does not forget. Every afternoon, he chews his cud in the dappled shade of the neem tree, just like he always did. He stays there while the new ox pulls the plow across the fields, while the farmer walks the fence line checking the wheat, while the wind blows dust down the road toward the distant town. And every single day, he glances down that road once, twice, slow and steady. He does not sigh. He does not fidget. He just looks for a long minute before he turns his attention back to the weeds at his hooves. Once every few days, a cart rumbles down the road, wheels kicking up thick clouds of dust. Every time that happens, Kalu lifts his head. He stops chewing. He watches the cart roll past the farm gate until it disappears over the far rise, and only the dust hangs in the air. Then he lowers his head and starts chewing again, slow and steady. He never says a word. He does not need to. The story of Bola is the lesson, and the lesson waits for anyone who stops to see it. Bola carried his work like a weight he could not escape. He resented every step, every scorching noon, every sore muscle. He thought the comfort Kalu had was the better life, that rest would fix every ache and every unfairness. He did not understand that his work was the thing that built his place. It was the thing that kept him needed, that kept him safe, that kept him home. That is the lesson Bola learned too late. That is the lesson Kalu still waits, in the shade of the neem tree, for the rest of us to learn.